father's conduct indicates he is in need of a mental health evaluation, included but not limited to accusing the police, children and youth, and the guardian ad litem of not doing a proper investigation when they did not agree with his assertions. This is so far from the truth, and the evidence shows that I actually applauded the police because the police were the only ones who did their job, and children and youth didn't do their job, and that's why the director was eventually arrested for endangering hundreds of children. Currently have an open lawsuit against them where the Department of Justice found that there was enough evidence to pursue a lawsuit and there was civil rights violations. The guardian ad litem, which has close ties to CYS, I have the transcript showing that she did not do her job. So I say to the Superior Court, the assertions made by the trial courts can be demonstrated beyond a reasonable doubt to be materially false. 2020-2021 litigation involved plaintiff exposing 3 LLCCYS employees for allegedly obstructing justice and a guardian ad litem, Marsha Basco, for allegedly obstructing justice and extortion. Marsha Basco has had close connections with LCCYS and has also worked as a mediator in Luzerne County Family Court in 2022. Judge Tara Toohill has close ties with LCCYS and the former director of LCCYS, Joanne Van Saun, who was arrested in 2021 for endangering children. Judge Tara Tuhill's March 3, 2024 order fabricates plaintiff's interaction with CAL and CYS. This fabrication of documented facts points to another possible motive for retaliation, discrimination, bias, abuse of power, and abuse of discretion. The trial court responded to my statement of matters complained of on appeal with okay, so I'm going to go into what the judge said on her May 3rd order, but then again, she repeated some of these same things during my appeal when she had to respond to issues that I complained of on appeal. The judge says, in this assignment of error, father has alleged facts which have absolutely no basis in the record. It is correct that the prior proceedings before this judge became involved in this case indicate that the guardian ad litem did not agree with the plaintiff that the maternal aunt did not sexually abuse the child, that the Luzerne County Children and Youth Service Agency also did not find such abuse contrary to father's claim. However, to claim that the trial court has close ties with the agency and former director of the agency has absolutely no basis or support in the record. In fact, this judge was not even a judge at the time of these allegations. This judge wasn't on the bench until January of 2022. This is on page 58 in my brief to the Superior Court. You see, the first thing is the custody trial comprehensive brief that I submitted to this judge. On line 37, it specifically states defendant made contact with Wilkes-Barre police investigator Sergeant Casey, who said he would start his investigation in this case in January. On transcript page 13 of the December 11th hearing before Judge Amesbury, the judge granted protections on the child. This was based on a pending criminal investigation. The opposing party, they came to court along with CYS and said that there was no criminal investigation going on. Now, that following hearing, which was February 19th of 2021, Detective Casey confirmed the existence of a criminal investigation. Detective Casey, his investigation lasted for 4 months. March 30th hearing, he said, there wouldn't be any referral made to the district attorney's office because I found no evidence of wrongdoing that I feel as though could be proven. He added, if they at some point find a professional that is able to elicit information that would be consistent with this, it could be revisited. See, this is why people sexually abuse nonverbal children or nonverbal adults, is because they cannot actually come out and say that this person had did that. So whenever you bring a case to the higher courts, you need something solid. You can't just go off of, well, it seems like this or it seems like that. Okay, so the police investigation it lasted for 4 months. Child Protective Services investigation, 1 week done. So then I say to the Superior Court, the appellant expresses profound respect for both the initial reporting officer and the investigating detective. Notably, Detective Casey's dedication is highlighted by his involvement despite managing 42 active open cases and 5 active homicides. Conclusion. The appellant maintains that at no point did they accuse the police of negligence. The record demonstrates consistent appreciation for law enforcement efforts, particularly Detective Casey's thorough and respectful handling of the investigation with the constraints of available evidence and resources. The guardian ad litem. The accusation of guardian ad litem Marsha Basco failed to fulfill her duties is well supported by the record. Marsha Basco was appointed as GAL following the failure of Children and Youth Services to perform their responsibilities. Upon her appointment, Ms. Basco demanded an upfront payment of $165 and an additional $50 per hour for her services. I responded by indicating my intention to file a motion for the county to cover these expenses, as I believed her role was to perform duties neglected by CYS. Despite my willingness to allow her access to my residence, I was uncomfortable with the financial burden. Ms. Asco expressed dissatisfaction, stating, "Well, I don't work for free." My motion to waive GAL fees was denied, and I proceeded to court without her opinion. Ms. Basco rendered a recommendation favoring the mother without conducting the thorough investigation required by her role. Her efforts were limited to a few phone calls, which do not meet the standard for a comprehensive evaluation of the child's best interests. Okay, so the next thing is children and youth. The person that's working for children and youth, she came to court. She testified that right here, the police are not, to her knowledge, investigating the case. However, this assertion is contradicted by the existence of an ongoing criminal investigation. So my final statement in my brief to the Superior Court, I said the appellant's assertion that the Luzerne County Children and Youth Services and Marsha Basco failed to conduct a proper investigation are substantiated by transcripts, testimony, exhibits, court orders, and public records filed with the Luzerne County Courthouse in 3 separate cases presided over by Judge Tara Toohill during the 2023 and 2024. During 2023 and 2024, Judge Tara Toohill, the trial court judge, oversaw all proceedings between the appellant and the appellee in 2023 and 2024, which included matters such as a protection from abuse order, 2 contempt of court cases, a custody trial, and emergency petition. Court took judicial notice of all proceedings. And here's a quote from the courts on day 2 of custody trial, where she specifically mentioned the case from 2020 and 2021. And she says, "Judge Hughes, I do have that old transcript." And she took judicial notice of all of the proceedings numerous times. And I did a whole episode on judicial notice, which would be episode 43.